Have you ever met my ex-wife? She's kind of a bitch. Mersey doots and doozy doots, and I'll be home for Christmas. All right, that's a wrap. Go ahead and send that.
I need a lover that's not afraid to grab me by the turnbuckle.
You forgot to take your antidepressants today, which is why you called the lady at the drive-thru a communist because she was out of almond milk.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
I'm living far away where anything can reach the ceiling.
Okay,
October spooky time is back.
our Halloween show.
One of my favorite times of year.
As soon as I put this costume on, I always want to go, have you ever met my ex-wife? She's kind of a bitch. I don't know. I just had to get that out of my system. So the new Judas Priest album, the new song is great, by the way. We'll probably play it on the show next week. The album is called Invincible Shield. It's
I
not
don't
a
know
very
how I
good.
feel about
It's
that.
not a very good title at all.
I wanted to almost be Invisible Shield.
Stained Class, Sad Wings of Destiny, Invincible Shield. Sounds like non-stick surface.
Maybe it was
Wow, this is a great
inspired-
pan. What a great pan. Anybody else?
inspired by Teflon.
Anybody else want some steak?
It's an invincible shield.
I'm sure it'll be good, but it's just we're not starting off with the best of titles here.
Well, they don't need good titles anymore.
It all matters. Yes, you do. It all matters. Remember what our last Halloween show was last year? Who was the guest?
Dot.
It was Dot,
Dot
from
Wiggin.
the Shags. Yeah.
Yep.
I have Dot Wiggins' cell phone number in my phone. I know. Don't be jealous. I know it's very, very. Even I can't believe it sometimes.
She even wrote that song about playing
Phone
phone
tag.
tag.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Well,
We got the lights going out front. Of course, our neighbors have added a fourth gigantic statue. They've got like two skeletons, a werewolf, and
at
a
this
clown.
point, they've spent $1,600 plus on Halloween decorations.
These are like the 15-foot tall things. I have no idea where they stored
And then
them.
Christmas time, they just throw a Santa hat on them. You know, which I don't blame them for that. If I spent $1,600, I'd want it out there for half the year too. But I think they drive like a Hyundai or something.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
So
priorities. What
Yeah.
are you gonna do?
I
You know?
couldn't believe they added a fourth one. And they've got all these little things too.
Right. It's plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the people who their lawn is just peppered with toy soldiers. Their lawn is just peppered with skeletons and little scary dolls.
Guillotines and shit.
Yeah.
You know, so
Ooh, ours looks kind of pathetic next to that. Although we have to put our new arch up now. I have a little graveyard going out front, but that's about it
sounds good.
with
Yeah.
my torches.
Okay. So remember the era of putting personal ads out? I guess you could still do it. You put out
Like online dating, you have to write a little blurb or something
what
for
you're
your
looking for.
profile page.
What you're looking for in a significant other or in somebody you want to date. So I thought it would be interesting if we came up with some occupation targeted personal ads. Start off with scientist. I'm looking for the smartest guy in the room. I'll let you stick your Nobel Prize on my mantle. Somebody to get my Bunsen burner going. Anxious to show you my aperture.
Okay. All right. This is kind of pirate adjacent, it being a fisherman. We're all on the water. Anyway, so we thought a fisherman might say, I need a lover that's not afraid to grab me by the turnbuckles.
Absolutely.
A man quick to get his bearings, maybe working to develop his own lozenge.
That's important.
An unfathomable good time awaits. Casting a wide net search.
That's a good one. I like that one. Okay. Next up is beekeeper. Needs someone that always keeps an antenna up but doesn't blow smoke. Okay, with a slight hive mentality. Send me some flowers. I am desperately seeking pollination. Honey, I can't wait to meet you. The next one might be my favorite.
All right, this would be a bank teller's personal ad. I need a lover that knows it's all about the Benjamins. Pneumatic tubes, wealth management, and lollipops are my turn-ons. Need my portfolio examined thoroughly. Don't be shy. I'm into compound interest.
She's into compound interest, though. Chef. Seeking flavor, zest, and plenty of heat, but will savor the tender moments. Is okay with my personal boil over. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Let's throw some spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks. So this has been occupation-based personal ads with Mark and Stace. Okay.
It was kind of barbaric. You throw the spaghetti against the wall.
Did that come from the Odd Couple?
No, that's actually a way to see if the noodles are done.
Really?
Yeah. If
Like, what do you mean?
throw them against the wall and they stick, that means that they're done.
Because a big part of the Odd Couple when he smashes them. Linguini. Anyway, so this is a good time as any to warn you we're going to get a phone call today.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. It's been a while too, so this could be an epic affair. And listen, this is going to shock all of you, but he's not very good with technology. No, I had an epic phone call with Stu, and I explained to him that there's a visual show. So he's going to use Zoom, and we're going to get a visual element to go with our Stu Manchu call today. So stay tuned for that. In other news, did you hear that the pharmacists at like CVS and Walgreens staged a kind of a walkout this week?
Yeah.
They're calling it unsafe conditions. And I think that it's kind of clickbaitish because unsafe conditions, it's more that it's unsafe for the patients because they're overwhelmed and understaffed, I guess was the point, right?
I guess, we couldn't quite figure it out. We were, I mean, is it because they're having to handle hazardous pills?
Well, the way they say that it's dangerous or unsafe conditions at the pharmacy, this led us to this line of logic. Okay. We interviewed several disgruntled workers. Listen, counting out exactly 17 pills of Symbicort is challenging enough with my carpal tunnel. I will not fill any more prescriptions while riding a unicycle on a freshly waxed floor. I don't care what management's efficiency charts say.
I get a morale boost from each store having a mascot, but I'm still trying to figure out how to count copays while feeding a mountain lion. It seems a little risky to me.
That's just not cool at all.
I know management thinks it's good for teamwork by placing the pills in a cornhole table and having us toss the pills in. But honestly, it's starting to kill my wrists, and my lower back is in knots. Plus, we get docked if any pills hit the floor. Leslie slipped on a bunch of loose pills and went ass over teacups down the front stairs.
Dangerous conditions. And lastly, I know landscaping costs are high, but I get a little freaked out having to work the hedge trimmer and file insurance claims with Blue Cross at the same time. This has been the Dangerous Pharmacy with Mark and Stace. So
our pharmacy's already dangerous.
We have a good one now.
Yeah, but I still have to go to the old one.
The old one is pure chaos. People jumping out of windows, drive-through closed.
There's always someone freaking out and yelling.
Date of birth 3 times. Yeah. Okay, we had a good reaction to this last time we did it, so I have come up with more of Mark's very specific horoscopes. Okay, so we're going to start off with Taurus. The regular Taurus says, again, the art of vague. Your hesitations may be echoes of past negative influences in your life. You might notice that you're afraid to do activities that others poked fun at you for doing in the past. It's okay if you fell down back then, but at this time you can pick yourself up. The fuck is that? Here's Taurus. Look, I know it's an awkward situation, but you need to talk to Wayne about that vasectomy. Sharon thinks your aftershave smells like month-old crab meat. Start taking the stairs, El Tubbo. That's Taurus. Okay. Why don't you read the next two?
Capricorn. This is the regular. While being entirely honest can be uncomfortable at times, just let what you're thinking and feeling flow out of you with the confidence of truth.
What a crock of shit.
It's basically says nothing. So this is our redo. The color printer at work is on the fritz. Barb did call a technician. His first appointment is until Thursday. Bert's last day is Tuesday, and he still owes you $10 from the office football pool. Oh, and buy a lint roller.
Close it out with Aquarius. This is the gobbledygook online. Coworkers and friends that you see routinely could seem like they are competing with you, and siblings might do the same if you have them. Don't let it bother you. Instead, try to see it as a desire to connect. Whatever. How about this? You forgot to take your antidepressants today, which is why you called the lady at the drive-thru a communist because she was out of almond milk. Yes, Mom is still farting. Okay, why don't we talk about our feature interview?
Our feature interview this week is a great one. This is featuring Tim Baker of the legendary California metal band Cirith Ungol. Talk about a band with history. We cover everything from Cirith's humble origins to the development of their exciting new record, Dark Parade, which drops October 20th. You're not going to want to miss this as we get into details on crafting songs, crafting lyrics, how they stay so consistent over so many decades, even a little about K-pop. He is so laid back, so California, so rocker. So stay tuned for that.
All right, let's play some classic Cirith Ungol. This is Atom Smasher. Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/snaggletoothpodcasts.
This is exclusive content just for our patrons. We do everything from music reviews to classic commentary to recipe tips to even a few fitness tips. And I'm definitely bringing back the blindfolded beer challenge.
Why don't we do that this week?
Yeah,
We'll
this week.
add the blindfolded. If you want to see me in a pink mask trying to figure out what beer I'm drinking, $6.66 a month is all it takes.
The honest treat is the cat that usually steals your thunder.
Yeah. Damn cat. Speaking of which, we gotta get the black cat in here for this. This is a Halloween episode. So anyway, yeah, we really need your help. It's a great deal. Only $6.66 a month. It's less than you probably spend on coffee in a month, and it gets you all kinds of extra Mark and Stace footage that is very funny and very entertaining.
And it helps us bring you a better show, better content, better equipment, and better bling for our wall.
Absolutely. It's
More hair color.
always expanding. Yes. So I was thinking about the difference between sitcoms in the 70s and the 80s. Sitcoms in the 70s were great. In the 80s, not so much.
Did they even use a laugh track in the 70s, or was that a later edition?
They did.
They
They
did?
did.
I thought they did a live studio audience more.
Well, I think they did both, but I mean, if you think about it, so 77, 78, there were shows like Laverne and Shirley. Remember the Milk and Pepsi, Boo Boo Kitty, the owl on the sweater. Lenny says his last name Kosnowski is Polish for help. There's a hog in my kitchen. The writing was so good. I love the way Lenny and Squiggy, they were kind of like a precursor to Kramer.
Oh yeah,
Because it would be like
neighbor.
the setups were brilliant. It would be like, no one's that desperate. Hello, they'd come in. It was just the writing was so good in those shows. I mean, and of course, Laverne and Shirley was an offshoot from Happy Days, another show that was great and just had so many great characters in it. The dreaded Malachi brothers in the Smash Up Derby, Susie Quattro as Leather Tuscadero, the Leopard Lodge where he was Grand Poobah with the hat. Fonzie would say stuff to Ralph and Potsy like, "Why don't you two go finger paint in the corner or something?" It's hysterical.
I used to always like they changed it over the years, but the disgruntled guy who ran the cafe where they ate Arnold,
Yeah.
whenever the Arnold changed, but he was always Arnold.
Yeah, it was Pat Morita first or Pat Morita was
After
second?
he was second.
Second.
Yeah.
They had the kind of the fatter guy. He
Yeah,
was
kind of a
original.
typical Italian looking
Yeah,
cafe.
Arnold. But it didn't change to it. Did they even acknowledge
No.
it? Or it was,
No.
again, that was a thing in the 70s. It was like, what? It's the same actor. Roll it, No, it's not. Yeah, and it was weird how Ronnie Howard in Happy Days, he was basically like an older version of Opie. It was almost like they could have just called him Opie. It was like a continuation because he had he acted the same as he did in Andy Griffith. They should have called it Opie the later years.
And it's another weird thing about that was in the very first season, they had an older sibling named Chuck.
Oh yeah, the conspiracy of Chuck.
And he was shipped off to college and then apparently joined the Peace Corps or something because inexplicably he is never heard from. No one mentions his name, even at Christmas. He's just gone.
No, it was just Joni and Richie for like the rest of the seasons. It was just like, Chuck who? What are you talking about? Class. Yeah.
It's like when Weird Science, when he's like, our son, and she's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
He's our 16-year-old boy. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, is he? Okay. Three's Company. That show didn't even have to be funny for me. All they had to do was make Joyce DeWitt Schwartz a little shorter, drop Suzanne Summers' neckline a little bit. That's all we were looking at.
I always had a little crush on John Ritter back in the day.
Yeah.
I did.
Fred Roper was great. The one he would make some kind of off-color comment about Jack, and then the camera would just
the facial.
the face was great. Even later with Mr. Furley.
Knotts.
Don Knotts says Mr. Furley. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Oh, just one more thing. I'm going back to Happy Days. The spin-offs for Happy Days, besides Laverne and Shirley, were terrible. Mork and Mindy was a spin-off. Because remember, Mork was on,
Originally,
Robin
yeah.
Williams was on Happy Days. God, that show sucked. Even Jonathan Winters couldn't save that show. And then there was Joni Loves Chachi. Mercifully, that only ran 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think they ran out of ideas for lover spats and ridiculous misunderstandings.
Chachi, when I overheard you saying, I'm concerned about her weight, I thought you were talking about me, not the cat. That's why I joined the gym. Ha, 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 ha. And they lived happily ever after, and their cat Fabian were on a gluten-free diet.
Does that help?
All right, now we're going to get to probably maybe my favorite show of the 70s, MASH. Now, I do have to say that I only like the early seasons of MASH, like the first 2 or 3 seasons where they had Hawkeye and Trapper and Henry Blake. And they had Colonel Flagg on. Colonel Flagg was this ridiculously paranoid spy. And he would be dictating his code to Radar. Mersey doots and doozy doots, and I'll be home for Christmas. All right, that's a wrap. Go ahead and send that, Or we would say stuff like, I'm with the CIA, but I tell people I'm with the CID, and they'll think that I'm actually with the CIC. Hysterical. And then Henry Blake, when he would say stuff like, there was an episode where it was so cold, they were burning everything, just burning everything, right? All the furniture and stuff. And he's on the phone, and he's talking about his office is like echoey because they've stolen and burned everything. And he goes, to cut off a man's legs and steal his drawers. I mean, that's just dirty pool. I mean, just laugh a minute stuff. How about this one?
Other shows like All in the Family.
Yeah, I like the law firm of Lebedowitz, and Lebedowitz, 3 Savage Jews. That was great.
Soap was great.
The Exorcist stuff scared the shit out of me.
Oh
I was
my
kid. Yeah, I
God.
was young.
It was kind of edgy. I remember I wasn't supposed to watch it, but my mom didn't like me, but I would watch it anyway.
Billy Crystal has to have everything written for him. He cannot write funny stuff. Anyway, Barney Miller. Remember that show? That was a good one. Yeah. And didn't All in the Family have some kind of a scandal with the sound of a toilet flushing?
Yeah, it was weird
Edgy.
back in the sitcoms the way we know what real life is, but they always had to have married couples in twin beds. Like they couldn't possibly be having sex,
Right.
even though they were married.
It's all these rules. Yeah.
But
They
you
had back
also
then.
apparently couldn't actually have a toilet flushing or acknowledge that someone.
So that was
peed
one
or-
of their big breakthroughs, that they actually had a toilet flushing.
Well, that and the Carol O'Connor's version of
Blatant
the-
racism. Yeah.
Yeah, blatant racism of the blue collar man.
Yeah.
To actually put that out there.
My brothers and I were banned from watching Welcome Back Home because all we did was quote it. We would never stop. I think we actually caused damage to my mom's brain cells.
God.
Everything we conversed in was from Welcome Back Home. How about Taxi?
Taxi was so funny. I can't think of another show like, you got Andy Kaufman, Christopher Lloyd, Judd Hirsch, fucking brilliant writing.
There's that one episode when Jim, I always think of the one where Jim slips something into Louis' coffee and Alex catches him. And he's like, hey, what was that? Did you just put something in his coffee? And he goes, well, it was either a tranquilizer or a chicklet. And then Louis is like, all right, losers. Rieger. And then Alex goes, I guess we can roll out the chicklet. And the next thing you know, he starts singing, we were sailing along on Moonlight Bay. And they all fall into character. They know the words. They do like a little dance routine. It's hysterical.
I always like the episode where Jim's in driving class and he's trying to cheat and he's trying to ask Bobby loudly, what does a yellow light mean? And he can't slow down. So he just keeps saying the question slower.
Does.
And oh my God, I just remember laughing so hard. And every time they did it, I just laughed harder.
Remember the one where, what was her name?
Mary Lou Henner?
What was her character? Anyway, Mary Lou Henner gets a really bad hairdo from
Locke's wife?
no, from this super expensive salon.
Oh,
And it's Ted Danson.
yeah.
And he's a real ass. And her hair is like a mess, right? And Louis walks in and he goes, I haven't seen a mess like that since somebody stuck a firecracker up my uncle's parakeet. That's great.
It's so original.
Yeah. Good. Right. I think all the good writers were in the 70s. Fast forward a few years to 85. By then, there's a severe drop in comedy quality. Night Court, really? All I remember is the judge's terrible level jokes, worse than your boss. You know,
Oh, God.
a duck walks into a drugstore and says, "Give me some chapstick, put it on my bill." Wow, wow. And that was one of the better jokes. The Cosby Show.
Oh,
mean, do
my
we even need to
God.
mention it?
No, it was.
I love the way they never drank alcohol. Like there would be a scene where Claire and Bill are cuddling up on the couch and the kids aren't home. So they just get out a pear and they slice the pear in an exotic way and feed each other. I'm like, give me a break. No alcohol, give me a break. You know.
Yeah, I always thought he was constantly. It didn't matter what time of year it was. He was in the dad, like really ugly sweater.
Yeah.
The sweaters were tragic, and they always had like she was so smart and clever, and he was always, just the perfect dad, like logic or whatever he did. Usually, always worked in the end. Whatever trick he had to use his psychiatry to change what his kids' behavior.
Was nowhere near as good as the 70s shows.
No.
All right. Kate and Allie. Oh, it's awful. For some reason, my mom liked that show. They were always arguing about who was making dinner. Sushi. I'm not supposed to be eating raw fish. Even Kelsey Grammer was on there and couldn't save that show. I know it was supposed to be like empowering these two women by pulling it together after divorce, but it was just all they ever did was talk about men.
Right.
So,
And then, and when it ended with them getting married off, so.
I always kind of hoped for a lesbian scene in that show. I thought that would like right the wrongs. Nothing like that.
No.
How about Scarecrow and Mrs. King?
Ridiculous premise.
The housewife and the secret agent. What about Mr. King? Did he not even know what was going on?
Apparently, no, he was working 3 jobs. And
Golden Girls have kind of a cult following.
they do. I mean, it's still on TV today.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird. They put a bunch of old, widowed or single ladies together. One was spacey, one was bitter, one lusty, one spunky. I think it was inspired by the facts of life. They just added on 50 years and factored in Viagra, and boom, you got the Golden Girl.
Family Ties was always pushing some kind of like 80s yuppie lifestyle, but secretly were hippies politics. People used to say that I looked like Michael J. Fox. And like, oh, he's not funny. No. Cheers and Newhart, I think, were the only good shows back then.
Yeah.
And I think they probably had held over some writers from the 70s. They probably got some of the dream team writers for
They didn't need the ridiculous setups, the, just stupid punny jokes. They were just funny.
Yeah, they were good. It appears that we have a phone call. Just when we were having so much fun talking about Cheers and Newhart. Hello, this is Mark.
Oh, hello. Could I speak to your review department, please?
Speaking, by all means.
Oh, no. Send help.
Haven't heard from you in a while, Stu. What you been up to?
Between my Olympic jitterbug team and my line of designer gravies, I've been busier than a bedpan commando.
Bedpan Commando. I really hate these features.
Well, flash my hash and call me an earbanger. This is a review of my fan art.
Cool. You mean like people sending you drawings and stuff?
Excellent mount on the beam as always, Mr. Mark.
I'm going to start leaving you two alone for these.
None of us is as smart as all of us, Mrs. Mark.
If half of us were as smart as the rest of us, it would be too much for all of us.
Well said, Mr. Mark.
Yeah, I've heard this type of logic before. And life is like a box of chocolates, said another weirdo.
Starting off with this sublime little piece from my nephew, Beau. Looking at it always puts a kick in my clutch. 4 out of 5.
Obviously, you two are quite close.
That's 8 knives sticking out of the body, Stu?
You ever heard that song Jeremy's Spoken?
It's the sunset in that one that really patches my panty waist. Anyway, moving on to the next one. A wellspring of passion courtesy of the Swizzle Sisters Rotary Club.
Nothing's quite as inspiring as a dead body sticking out of a mulcher.
Those feet look freshly pedicured. Look at that.
When the world gets unlucky, you gotta stay plucky and maybe move to Kentucky.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I saw that murderous image, Stu.
Jim Dandy to the rescue, Mr. Mark.
Do I even know you two?
Makes me want to hit the torpedo juice. Anyway, the next one is courtesy of a mysterious artist that just calls himself N.
Falling in a hole is a good thing? Maybe it's Sean Killian from Violent.
Falling off a cliff.
Are we almost done here?
Full marks, Stu. We needed some gravity in this conversation.
Holy Joe. It's not how hard we fall, but that we keep getting back up. 5 stars. Which brings me to the last one that was actually delivered via courier this morning.
Wait, have a blessed day? That actually looks semi-normal.
Wait, there's a fold in it.
See, there it is. Now that's a piece of art.
Have a blessed day, because you're dead tomorrow, asshole. Hey, maybe I sent that parcel.
Uh-oh.
She seemed normal, but there were signs.
Well, this was great. Lots more reviews to come. Thanks very much to both of you.
Goodbye, Stu. Keep in touch. Okay, let's play another song from Cirith Ungol. This is from the new album. It's called Looking Glass. Okay, let's talk about imperfect foods.
We just got our imperfect food order this week, and you can too. This is a great company, as not only do they provide quality products, but you're also saving the planet by reducing your carbon footprint, by saving water, CO2, all kinds of things that would have gone to waste if you didn't get these products. And it'll tell you right on there. Are they smaller? Are they larger? Are
CO2, H2O, MP3, all the other.
Are they oversized? Are they broken? They'll let you know. It's kind of not like buying imperfect clothing. You know, the pants with 3 legs don't really work, but these products actually do. In fact, we just had a wonderful imperfect lunch. Y2K,
HBO.
No, I have some products here to show you. In fact, this is our empty package of garlic naan that I actually used, also from Imperfect. They had these great already spiced fajita strips that I cooked up and ended up putting on the toasted garlic naans with some peppers and vegetables and onions and tomatoes.
Marvelously delicious.
Really, really good. But just to show you, you can get, we love the cheeses from Imperfect. They have a great habanero cheddar. They have shredded cheese. They have goat cheese. This here is some, you don't find this often. It's actually slices of cheddar cheese, which was almost gone because it's in our house. Also great for them are the snacks. We already ate the potato chips, or I'd show you those. They were some great.
They had no chance of survival.
So. But they're made from ugly potatoes. This is chocolate covered everything. It's a mishmash of stuff probably left in the chocolate factory, but what isn't good chocolate covered? You get a little bit of everything from pretzels to nuts to popcorn. This won't last long here either.
Will not.
This is another one of our favorites. This is dark chocolate broken almonds.
This is like crack. This is like...
The almonds are broken. They're covered in chocolate. You'll never notice the difference.
Good Lord.
So use our link and get over there and get your own goodies delivered right to your door. $60 or more ships for free. How can you beat it? Use our link. It'll save you $20 off your first order.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
Ah,
Oh. Yeah.
Really good collectorbation this week. The band is Tenebrae from Sweden, and the album is Grim Ride. And you'll have to forgive me. This is a CD-only release. I do not have vinyl of this, but it doesn't matter. This is a strange band from a strange label. Record Heaven had a blend of kind of proggy stoner rock, and that's kind of an acquired taste. Even the debut from Tenebrae is admittedly kind of for connoisseurs only. It's very, very gothy, and it's got some strange, like Charles Manson covers and things on it. But then out of nowhere, this is Tenebrae's sophomore disc. It just blew everything else out of the water. This came out in 1998, which is a very anemic year for traditional metal. Priest was in the toilet. Maiden was in the toilet. A lot of the old stalwart Slayer was in the toilet. And this thing just ripped it all wide open. couldn't get enough of it, and I just told everybody I could about it. It's sound livelier than Typo Negative, catchier than Entombed. These semi-anonymous Swedes presented a scrumptious platter of all stars aligning metal delights.
The album cover had me expecting some Sam Hain imitation, but the guitar tones just wallop with a brick wall of an overdriven crunch. Hallie Met's vocals remain dark and abrasive, delivering straight-up death grunts and growls as needed, but also conjuring vibrant and mysterious tones reminiscent of Steel or Iggy's darker moments as evidenced in The Call.
So let's play a song. Grab on to something for this. This is Demon. Okay, let's continue the gushing over Tenebre's awesome Grimride album. The special sauce of Grimride lies in the drumming. Joel Linder finds a way to channel Hair of the Dog and Burn into the sonic stew, blasting away with frequent barrages of double bass pumping and cowbell tonking wickedness. 13 hinted at his godlike drum tendencies, but the marching order for Grimride is no restraint. That's why I can't get enough of cuts of That's why I can't get enough of cuts like a Needle, Demon, and Scarecrow, among others.
Linder is absent from the follow-up, and as I recall, it's not nearly as potent. Even so, this brief Tenebrae lineup found a way to deliver an obscure 5-star crusher if there ever was one. Tear your soul apart.
All right, this is The Call. All right, why don't we introduce the interview?
This is our interview with Tim from Cirith Ungol. These guys know what they're doing, as well evidenced by their latest album, Dark Parade. They recently announced that this will be their last year touring. So if they come anywhere near you, I advise you to get your tickets, because this could be your last chance to see them live.
Yep, so here it is.
Here's our interview. Well, we've certainly been big fans of Cirith Ungol for a long time. We're so excited to find out about Dark Parade. So going way back to the beginning, I guess, I was curious because, of course, it comes from the Tolkien novels. But there's so many names and things and aspects in those books. What made you choose that name out of all the things?
Well, the funny thing about that is I had nothing to do with that because I didn't know them then. So that was their choice to do that. And the story goes that I think Greg and Rob were in an English class in like high school or junior high or kindergarten or somewhere. And they had to, one of the assignments was to read Lord of the Rings. So, and they decided, well, I think they went through a list of different names to call the band, like just from weird places and different things. And they kind of settled on that because they liked the idea of what it was. I think it's, if you translate it into whatever language that is, I think it's like Path of the Spider or something. It's where, and they wrote, I mean, a lot of that old stuff that they wrote was all about that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of why they chose the name. And they had, like I said, they had the name when I met them. So,
yeah,
don't blame me.
I was just like, wow. And that was a scene of a good battle, too. So that was where they sprung Frodo. So, what a good name.
I'll take your word for that.
Just real quick before I forget. I was interviewing JB from Grand Magus. This is back when the Lord of the Rings movies first came out. I didn't know he was like a Lord of the Rings lunatic.
Oh, okay.
Said, what'd you think of the movies? And 10 minutes of this was wrong, this was not accurate.
Oh no, like, yeah, well, it's a movie. It's not an autobiography.
I know. Oh my gosh, it was like
Bilbo or whatever. I know. Yeah, I know.
Really
it's funny because there are a lot. There seems to be there's a lot of bands that are really into that, and they take it very seriously as far as all the minutia and all the names and places and the whole thing. I mean, a lot of people get on us, well, you don't even pronounce the name of the band right. Well, not my fault.
I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that was a bit of contention for the purists that the name is pronounced differently in the book. Oh, get over it, really?
I know. It's funny because I just saw somebody was asking Tom Gabriel Fisher from
Celtic Frost, yeah.
Celtic Frost, the same thing. It's like it's supposed to be Celtic Frost. It's like, okay, man,
I
the
can't
same kind of
these
thing. People are like,
that come up,
you're not saying it right.
these people, they come up to you at a show, they finally get to meet this band. They've always like, the only thing they can think of is you didn't do the name right. I mean, who leads off?
I've never had anybody come up and say that, but I have read that. But I mean, it is what it is. It's all good.
Yeah. What are you gonna do, right? Yeah.
Yeah, not. I think they're focusing on all the wrong details.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, personally, we consider you guys like a founding father of this genre, and so many bands owe their core sound to albums like, King of the Dead, One Foot in Hell. Have you ever had a band come up to you guys, whether it be via in person or email, and just say, hey, you guys were a big influence on our sound or my musical aspirations?
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, like I said, I was just mentioning Tom from Celtic Frost. I mean, he just posted a big thing online on Facebook and everywhere about mentioning how we were kind of an influence on what he was doing at the time, and he was he's an original, you know what I mean? He's one of the guys that invented that whole thing. Extreme metal is kind of like his thing. And and I remember, we used to correspond way back in the day when he was in Hellhammer, and he used to, write us like letters and stuff and send us cassette tapes of Hellhammer and all this stuff. And then, and he ended up being like, the godfather of extreme metal and everything. So it's weird. You wouldn't think that a lot of bands that you hear what their influences are, because everything just kind of, it's like us. I mean, we've had a lot of influences, and everybody that's involved in the band has their own influences. So I mean, the way things kind of shake out to make the sound of the band, it's all a big hodgepodge of what everybody's listening to and what their influences are. So
yeah,
oh sure, that makes sense. But one thing about your sound is you've always stayed true to that old school, that doom power metal, but somehow you always come across with a modern sound. It's never like, oh, this is the same. It's always a little different. It's always a little bit like different, more experimental things thrown in. Who's the life beat of the band that kind of keeps it staid but also modern?
Well, it's really all of us. It's funny because we took a 25-year break and came back, and people were like just kind of like going like, wow, it's amazing that they sound like they do. They sound like they kind of did like back in the day, but blah blah blah. And it's like, well, I always make the joke. I mean, well, if the Beatles got back together, they'd sound like the Beatles. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know why anybody was expecting anything different when we got back together. It's the same guys. It's the same influences. It's the same the same mindset of the kind of music that we like and what we want to make. So it's just it's more mature, I think, than it was back in the day, and I think it's progressed a little bit. And we have we're older, and we've had more time to think about things and get things better, and just try to make better music every time. So I mean, I think that's why everything kind of a progression along the way, and hopefully each step along the way is better than the last.
And we did a whole show one time on groups that started here but went off on some weird tangent down the road, and we were sharing them back and forth. It was crazy.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Yeah, I mean, if you look, there's a lot of bands that have done that. They all of a sudden they shift genres, or they go with the times and try to do something, to try to remain relevant or popular or whatever. So, I mean, we were never relevant or popular. So, I mean, we've never had that problem. So we just kind of do. We've always just kind of do what we do and let the chips fall where they may. Which so it's not a problem with us trying to be trendy or try to stay up with whatever's modern times, because we don't even know what that is.
I mean, and you guys didn't even have a lot of side projects. Like a lot of these bands that stay true to their main project, they'll splinter off. You guys didn't even do a lot of that over the hiatus. I mean,
no, Greg did the Falcon thing.
Yes,
and which is, well, there you go.
I want to point this out. I have a Falcon guitar pick.
That's awesome.
Sent me both of these, so these are part of my rock and roll treasures. So
that's cool.
Let Greg know this. Someone still has Falcon material. Yes.
Oh no, we get people all the time saying, they still love the Falcon stuff, and maybe, but like I said, but that's not really that far removed from Cirith Ungol. I mean, it's different in its own way, because he's playing with different guys that have different influences and different ideas. So but it's not a total like 180 from what he was doing before. Like
Right,
you were
it's not
saying,
like
a lot of bands they'll
his
do a side
symphonic-
project that's like
Right.
they're in a metal band, all of a sudden they'll do something that's elevator music, or they'll do
Right. Symphonic jazz,
an
right.
Elvis record or whatever. So
I know.
Sailors on the Sea of Fate was one of my favorites from that. And that's about 8 minutes, because you have that whole acoustic, intro part that gives away to like the faster paced stuff. So you kept that in there, but I thought that it had a beginning, a middle, and an end. So
yeah.
Is that kind of what you're?
Yeah, well, we've always kind of done songs like, there's a lot of songs back on the other albums that are like that, like Finger of Scorn and things like that, and on the EP Half Past Human is like they're longer songs. I mean, to us it's not a matter of we set out to go, okay, we're going to write a song that's 3 minutes long, we're going to write a song that's 8 minutes long or whatever. We just kind of go with what the song writes itself, really. Whatever the song needs is what we're going to do, whether it's 5 minutes or 8 minutes, or or whatever it is. It's the music serves the song, and the song's going to serve the music either way. That's just how we've always done it. Whether it it is what it is. I think that song needed all that stuff to get to the point of it. Kind of like we've done a lot of songs that have acoustic intros and things like that, but they're not quite as long. It's like on Forever Black, there's Stormbringer was kind of like similar in a way. But yeah, we just kind of let everything take its own course, and just go from there. If we have to change things around, we do that a lot. We do a lot of demos for these things. We demoed this album in our own studio probably 2 or 3 times completely, overdubs and changing things around, removing parts, dropping entire songs, and writing. So it's just a process, and we let things just kind of go where they will.
When you guys decide like what might get left on the cutting room floor, is it a group decision, or is there one person who kind of makes the call?
Well, no, it really, if things get left out like that, it's kind of obvious to everybody. I mean, it'll be something that just kind of we'll all just kind of go, well, that just doesn't fit there, or that's just not right, or that's not the right that's not the right riff, or it doesn't flow correctly into this part or whatever. Or we'll take we've done things before. We'll write a song and we play it a few times and we don't like it, but we'll take pieces of that to do something else, take the parts that we like, that we know that we like, that we think are good, and we'll do something else, and just so it's just a weird process of just sometimes some songs will just go straight from the start to the end, and they'll be written. Other things they take more time to attaching different limbs and cutting out body parts and attaching everything together. So like a Frankenstein deal, but not too much of that goes on, really. Once we start working on something, we kind of know what we want to do, and we just kind of go from there.
Like with Down Below and Distant Shadows, there's much more of a doom feel. So I guess you knew that from the beginning. That's how that was going to go, as far as the feel of it.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not anything conscious that we do. Like we're going to go, okay, we're going to make one song that's really doomy. We're going to make one song that's kind of thrashy. We're going to make one song that's got some, Middle Eastern kind of feel to it, or some like Spanish kind of stuff, like Sacrifice has got some elements of like it's we don't consciously do that. What I mean? We just kind of go where it goes, and it's everybody's influences, everybody's input, and it's something it's like I said, sometimes things work out and they just flow naturally, and sometimes they don't. Jarvis, yeah.
I was looking at his resume. Wow, he played with Satan. He played with Jaguar. Wow, what was that like bringing in a new bass player?
Well, no, his actual band is Night Demon. So
okay.
No, it's the whole story. I mean, he's actually the guy that was really responsible for getting the band back together. So he's the guy that puts on the Frost and Fire festivals and everything like that. So, I mean, actually, he wasn't really originally going to be part of the band, but the other bass player that used to be in the band was kind of it didn't work out getting him back in the band. So, Jarvis stepped in, and he's been in the band since we got back together, and and it's great. He does his own thing. He manages bands. He's like he said, he's played with Jaguar. He's got his own band, Night Demon. If anybody out there hasn't heard them, go check them out because they're pretty freaking great. So I mean, it's all worked out. It's great having him in the band, and we all get along fine, and it's pretty cool.
I had a question about, you said Frost and Fire Festival. Like, so he put it together, but you guys didn't play at it until the second one, right?
Right. Right. Yes, that's correct.
Right.
Yeah, he did the first one. He was, he wanted to do something here in the town we live in, Ventura, like a metal festival, and got a lot of good bands and stuff. And we were just going to do a signing session and just meet people and stuff because we were from the same town, and it just kind of morphed into talking about, well, what do you guys think, maybe getting back together or whatever, since we hadn't, we broke up like 25 years before that, and it just a big long series of events, and it ended up happening, and 5 or 6, almost 7 years later, we're still doing it. So I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, very cool.
I had a question about velocity because the lyrics are so much about going down through the rings of hell and doom and pain and anguish. So how does velocity kind of become the title of that? Is it like hell in a handbasket?
Well, the funny thing is the word. It's a dumb story. I mean, this is one of these dumb, like, writing song, like, band stories. Anyway, the song Velocity has nothing to do with the word velocity. It's just, the other guys in the band, we wrote the song before I wrote the lyrics. And they go, oh, no, you got to write something like that. Okay. What it was is I had another song called that the guy read. It was just like a kind of a stream of consciousness poem thing that I wrote. It wasn't supposed to be a song, but that was the title of it. It had nothing to do. It was just the title of it, like a Lizard King kind of deal, right? Stream of consciousness and whatever. And then like, we ended up writing a song that was fast and kind of like some velocity. So I was like, it has nothing to do with that word. So I threw the word in, and that's the title of the song. It has nothing to do with the word. And you're right. It is kind of like, the lyrics are kind of like the beginning and your fall into the horrors of the dark parade. So I mean, but the word itself has nothing to do with anything. It's just the word of the song. So
that's falling at high velocity.
They insisted that I throw that word in there because it was a fast song, so I did.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
All right, should we do our game?
Yeah, we play a game.
All right, so we play a game.
Yeah.
I have 100 random questions in front of me, but you're going to pick 5 to answer. So give me 5 numbers between 1 and 100.
Oh God. 1, 5, 7, 25, and 90.
Don't worry, this isn't as bad as the game we play on the other show. He makes up one band name and then puts 4 other band names with it that are real, and they have to pick which one is fake. It usually they can't.
It goes over really well. Yeah.
So feel good. Number 1, what outfit have you worn in the past that you would not wear today?
Oh, the back in the day, they're like leather pants, man. Leather pants are the worst on stage. Especially like small stages where there's like a lot of lights and they're really hot. Oh man, it's horrible. You're like it's like wearing a sausage casing. You like sweat like a pig, and it's like there's nothing you can do about it. So I would never do that again. No, that's the one thing I would never do again.
You're better at making them now. I had a pair back in the day, and they used to stain my legs black.
Oh well, there you go.
It's again.
They were horrible.
I couldn't wear shorts for weeks after that. Yeah,
I know. I live my life in shorts, but they won't let me wear them on stage. So
oh no,
it's all good.
Yeah, I know he's got a thing about shorts and metal. But
it's traditional metal. Yeah.
Number 5. What would the title of your autobiographical novel be?
Oh, geez. Oh, thought I had something more to say. Something like that.
I love it.
Thought I had something more to say. I like that.
Number 7. What is your biggest pet peeve?
I don't really have that many. As far as like, I mean, as far as like everything, live
Yeah,
or music
everything.
or
There are people that don't
touring,
signal when they
or-
change lanes or
oh, I
whatever.
don't know. I don't know. I don't like pet peeve. I don't know. Fake
Yeah.
things that are fake. I kind of like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
And as far as like everything, people, music, everything else. I don't know. That might be one. I like things that are real, like people that are, real and upfront and honest about things. And
Yeah.
I like music the same way. And it's not really a pet peeve of mine, but it's a preference. I guess you could say.
Yeah.
All right. Number 25 is, if you were a breakfast cereal, which one would you be and why?
That's a good one.
Oh, I was just walking by the other day. I saw a box of Count Chocula, which is kind of cool because it's kind of a dark, grim, like vampire kind of thing. I mean, I'm not really that much of a horror thing, but that's probably the coolest cereal I can think of. Count Chocula. There's some other ones too. What's the other guy? The Frankenberry thing is kind of cool. They kind of like hang out together. I think. I don't think there's a Wolfman cereal yet, but I would kind of dig that too.
Yeah, they skipped over him and went to Boo Berry, which makes no sense.
Oh yeah, I remember that too. Yeah, Boo Berry.
All 3 were great when I was a kid, though. I wouldn't kick any of them out of bed. Any of them.
Oh no, they're still around. I was at the store today, and I saw they bring them back every year around Halloween. All of those,
yeah.
man. There's like a big display, and I'm going like, yeah. I took a picture and sent it to my son. It's like, dude,
Oh, that's great.
like I asked him, do you need me to buy you a box of Count Chocula?
Number 90. Do you sleep on your back, front, or side? And how many hours do you typically sleep?
Usually on my side because my hearing is better on one side than the other, so I have to hear my alarm. and I usually listen to music while I'm going to sleep, like some sleep, like white noise or whatever, blue noise, green noise, whatever.
Right.
And usually, how much do I sleep every day? Probably 5 hours, maybe.
Oh wow, busy man.
Yeah, I probably average 5 hours for my entire life. So yeah.
Yeah, we have this.
That's not good,
tracker.
Jordan.
The Fitbit gives you grades on working out and sleeping, and I get A+ for working out, and I just get, you did not sleep well, poor. So I'm like you. I'm lucky to get 5 hours. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about on your Fitbit deal?
Yeah, it grades you. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No,
Okay.
yeah. I do it just to make sure that when we're practicing, I don't go over 100. No, I'm just kidding. It's funny. I know what you say though. Yeah, I don't even look at my sleep thing anymore because it's always
it's
just
so
like
shitty.
a big frowning face. Yeah, I know what it is.
Oh no.
It feels like you got a D-.
Big frowning face.
Oh yeah,
Exactly what it is.
oh no, C- is on a good night.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say REM sleep. What's that?
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, the only time we have kooky dreams is on the weekend because I got to get up early for work, and but if we sleep in the weekend, I'll have some crazy ass, weirdo dream where I've lost my baby. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Oh God.
The one.
Yeah, well, make sure you set your alarm from now on so you don't be doing that.
Yeah. Epic. Yeah.
So we ran across, I don't know if you're aware of this, in 2010, Robert, your drummer, wrote a scathing review on Metal Archives about the rights to Paradise Lost that were sold off forever and his dissatisfaction about the way it was produced. Did you guys ever see any resolve to that or come to any happy conclusion?
Well, funny thing about all that, I don't want to put words in Rob's mouth, but he was pretty bitter about a lot of that stuff, like after the band broke up and for like all those years. So I mean, that was kind of a holdover from that.
Yeah.
The Paradise. I have no good resolution as far as the Paradise Lost thing goes. I know that a couple of years ago we were able to license to do like I think it was a pressing of like 5,000 of them that were sold. So somebody has. I don't even know if the masters still exist because I think that at one time it was part of the Warner Brothers catalog when, for a short period of time, Metal Blade was sold to Warner Brothers. I think it was, or they were part of that and everything. And there was actually a giant fire in the LA that burn up lots of stuff. I mean, movies, tapes, master recordings of all kinds of things. And I think part of that might have been involved in that. I'm not sure about that, but I really have no idea about any of those things. So we've been working on that for a long time as far as digging up. We were pretty naive back in the day as far as like, signing contracts, like everybody in a rock band says that, you know what I mean? Oh, we're going to make a record here. Let me sign, but it wasn't anything like that. I mean, but sometimes you don't really know what you're signing and what the ramifications are along the future. So, we've looked into that. We've got a lot of the publishing issues sorted out thanks to Metal Blade, working with us and doing things for us. I mean, we're very glad to be working with them again for sure. And then, they really treated us well and really helped us out as far as that kind of things go. But, everything's pretty much been resolved. I'm not sure about that, but, we're still checking on a few things. So,
well, I wanted to ask you, because it sounds like that was really rough dealing with all that. Is it easier now, like recording and putting out music, than it was back then when you had to deal with all that shit? Or what do you think? How does it compare?
Well, the main difference is just the technology. It's so much easier now. I mean, back then everything was on tape. I mean, you screw something up, roll the tape back and do it again, or you're splicing up pieces of tape, and you have to it's really expensive, and studio time is really expensive. Now everything's kind of digital. You can record the basic tracks on tape to get a different sound and then digitize them and do overdubs and things, which is we did a little bit of that on the last couple of records. But yeah, it's mostly just the technology has changed, and the record companies have changed. Everything it's no longer just physical product. It's everything is involved in streaming and social media, and everything is just, you put something out and immediately it's available everywhere in the world for free to everybody. And their own people and their own bands and things like that, instead of just crap, just I'm not going to buy this album because I can just listen to it on YouTube or whatever. They'll actually buy things from the bands to support the bands, which is it's great. It's like a big metal family around the world, and we're so happy to be part of that. We're glad to be back with Metal Blade and to be part of the big metal community. And hats off to everybody out there, all the bands that are just busting their ass to get things done and to survive. And it's tough, man. I mean, it's tough for us, and it's even tougher for a lot of other people, and then they're still out there doing it. And more power to everybody. Just to give everybody a leg up and support your local bands, support your favorite bands, and go out and see them. I mean, I've said this before. I think the last interview I did, a lot of the bands that you guys are younger, but I mean, a lot of bands that we grew up with and stuff, I mean, they're not going to be around that much longer. And a lot of them have already lost a lot of members and stuff. And you kind of go, well, they're playing next month. It's like an hour drive and it's kind of expensive, but you know what I mean? But if you want to see them, man, go see them.
Go see them. Yeah. Yeah. The epiphany for me.
If the up and coming bands, go see them. Like I said, I remember seeing Judas Priest, $5, man. There's plenty of chances to do that with your favorite, upcoming bands. So support them. And thanks for all the years of support to everybody out there.
I'll never forget the epiphany for me was, I think it was like my late teens. Joey Ramone died, and I hadn't seen the Ramones, and I was like,
yeah, there you go.
This is never going to happen again. Make a list. We're going to see them all. So that was my wake up call.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's there's a lot of bands. I actually, it's funny because my youngest daughter and she likes the old band Kansas.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't know if you know who that is. We went and actually saw them a couple of weeks ago, and there's like 2 guys left in that band, but the other guys have been in the band as long as the original guys by now,
right.
And they were, I've seen them a couple of times with but it's, go see them when you get the chance, man. I mean, that's all I can tell everybody out there. Come see us when you get the chance. Go see your favorite bands when you get the chance, and just support the local scene and, the metal scene in general.
I think it's great that your daughter likes Kansas. I can't imagine trying to get my daughter listening to that.
Well, it's funny because it's my daughters, they're big fans of K-pop, if you know what that is.
Oh,
Korean pop music.
Oh, yeah.
They live for that. That's their thing. But she does listen to like a lot of other things, and she does like that kind of prog rock kind of stuff. So and hey, if she wants to listen to it and she likes it, I'll go. I'll support her. I'll take her to the concerts. I've been to K-pop concerts. I've been to all kinds of weird stuff with my kids, and you know, if that's what they like, that's what they like. And, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to force my like whatever stuff that I like. The stuff that I like, I'm not even going to tell you. Like, people would be surprised the stuff I listen to. So
he had never seen Cavalera, and they just came around by us, and wow, you know, they were just as hard and fast as they always have been.
The true
Well,
Sepultura. Yeah.
no, there you go. That's what I mean. So, I mean, it's good that you got the chance to do that. And it's, you know, otherwise you could have went, yeah, you know, I never saw them before. I mean, what's the point of going now? They're all old, or they're doing this. I mean,
Right.
but you know, you can't. I don't think of it like that. I mean, if they're around and I want to see them, I'll go see them, man. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was looking at that live video on YouTube from Whack and Open Air 2022. You
Yes.
guys are killing it. The crowd's loving it. It's this huge freaking crowd. So, how was it playing there? It looked like the fans were absolutely rabid.
It was great. It was the biggest biggest show that we've ever played at, and it was you know, it was a freaking honor to be able to play there, like especially on one of the big stages there. You know, I mean, it was that day. It was, as far as the line, it was, we played on that stage, then Udo Dirkschneider, then Judas Priest. So it was like, you know, I got to actually sit on Rob Halbert's motorcycle backstage, took a picture of it. I put it up online before. I told you, don't tell him I did that, but you know, it's another one of those things. It's a weird full circle thing. Like I said, I went from like seeing him at the Whiskey for $5, and then, you know, and we get to play with him at freaking Wacken, the biggest metal festival in Germany. There's 65,000 people there, you know, and it's huge, and it's fun, and it's great, and it's just like, it's amazing. It was amazing, and it was like, it's really cool to be able to do that. And we've done a number of those, like, you know, big festivals like that, and they're always fun. You know, it's a big difference than the smaller, you know, the smaller things, the smaller festivals, and the club dates and stuff. But they all have their pluses and minuses. And, you know, Wacken was, man, it was a trip being there. I mean, it was amazing. So yeah, I'm glad we did that, and I hope we get to do it again.
Oh my God. Yeah. It made me want to see you guys live, because you
Absolutely.
just left like nothing. Everything was on the stage at the end of the show. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, where are you guys at right now?
Baltimore. We're Baltimore. So.
Baltimore. Well, didn't we play in where the hell did we play? We've been back in that kind of area a couple of times. It's only like a 3 or 4 hour drive, probably from.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that you guys will come around, at least Philly or DC or something close for this tour. Hopefully. So.
Yeah, hopefully. Like I said, we're kind of like right now we're in the process of getting things booked for next year. I mean, that's how long things get booked ahead of time. The pandemic actually pushed back a lot of things, because a lot of the festivals and agents, stuff like that, had booked bands for like 2 years, and they still kind of owed the bands the bookings and things, so things kind of got pushed around. So, and we didn't do a lot of stuff this year because like we had the album, getting that all done and everything. So hopefully we're going to make a big push and do a lot more shows.
Great.
We've made a conscious
in
effort
2024, and some South America stuff. Hopefully a lot of East Coast things. So hopefully we'll. Yeah, well, like I said, if we're in your area, hey, stop by.
Yeah, definitely, because we've been making a conscious effort to go out and see more, because like you said, it's number one, there's nothing like a live experience, to have that always.
Yeah, it's great. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes most of the time it's great. It depends on the venue and who you're seeing and who's sitting behind you that's drunk off their ass and stuff. So
right. I have the best time when the band's either really good or really bad. Like I in the middle is not so much, but I can have just as much fun with a shitty band just laughing and
Oh yeah, I mean it's always fun to get out and have and see live music. I've seen some weird. I mean, like I said, I've seen some weird like bands. I mean, like some of the fun things. I mean, I think me and my son they were playing in town. We were playing in town. It was Mac Sabbath. If you know who that is. Have you seen? You know what that is, right?
Oh yeah, I know.
And they were just so freaking hilarious and great, man. It was like the dude comes out, they're like all like McDonald's characters and stuff.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And it was, like things like that. I mean, it's not meant to be taken seriously, but it was a great time, and they play really well, and it's it was just fun, So I mean, it's always good to get out and have some fun.
Right.
So you guys are set to do a live recording in Los Angeles. So will you just be playing Dark Parade, or are there other things on the playlist?
Yeah, we're gonna do the whole album, the whole new album, and then we're gonna, come out and then do a set list of the classic stuff or all that. So yeah, so it's a whole big thing. So yeah.
Very cool.
It looks very exciting.
Very
Well, we hope you come our way because we will be there with bells on.
Yes. We'll buy you a
Awesome.
beer after the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I would
Excellent.
appreciate
All
that.
right,
I'll
my
buy you one
friend.
too.
Thank you again. I appreciate it. Good luck with the new album and the tour and everything else.
Falling on deaf ears.
All right. This is Deaf Ears number 1. Bud Bronson and the Good Timers, better known as the BBGT.
They had me as the name.
How much fun would it be to cruise all over the country looking for the coolest bar band in the USA? Okay, so maybe this is not on everyone's bucket list, but personally, I have just as much fun if the band is horribly bad as if they're kicking ass. In the case of Denver's heroically named Bud Bronson and the Good Timers, I may have found the winner without having to pay for the gas. Think of it as a high-energy power pop with a flair for the epic. The twin guitars of Brian Beer and Luke Gottlieb's are warm and melodic, with frequent harmonized bits, tons of Thin Lizzy in the leads. The choruses are much closer to garage punk, with touches of hawk-windy, space-like effects at the fringes. It is obvious these guys have been honing their craft for years. Plus, there's a tangible sense of humor and genuine fun that pervades the performances.
It's not an easy thing to write a power pop song that's engaging for 12 minutes. But that's exactly what these four have accomplished with Life Support, Breathe In, Breathe Out. The song continually wanders through lighter waving choruses that morph ever so slightly as the track plays on and shifts in and out of riff changes and swirling solos. The other track, The Other Side of Time, is more up-tempo, clocking in over 9 minutes, but somehow avoiding sounding this long, with plenty of taffy twists and turns from drummer Andrew Gordon, bonking piano lines, and more squealing guitar shred from Beer and Gottlieb. The EP is combined with 2020's Manifest Fantasy EP on the LP version, and the whole thing is entitled BBGT3. It's available on colored vinyl from the adorable Snappy Little Numbers label now. Fans of adventurous pop like Look What I Did, Crack the Sky, or New Pornographers should be more than pleased with the BBGT experience.
You know what? I was looking for Bud Bronson in the list of the band, but there is not a Bud Bronson.
Right.
He is instead like a mythical creature, kind of thought to be along the lines of Evel Knievel.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
So
Very cool.
it's not like Huey Lewis in the News. There is no Bud Bronson.
All right, well, let's play a song. This is Life Support, Breathe In, Breathe Out. Okay, Deaf Ears 2 is Spotlights. The album is Alchemy for the Dead. This is album number 4 for this New York City trio that relocated to Pittsburgh. And they are on Ipecac Records, so you know it's going to be heavy. The band is composed of the husband and wife team of Sarah and Mario Quintero, along with drummer Chris Enriquez. It's a doomy, heavy alt-rock built around Sarah's combination of droning bass and cooing vocals. How could I resist a band with a bass-playing female singer?
You
Hi.
rarely can.
Hi, Erica. Sort of recalls 90s fare like Filter, Soundgarden, and 9 Inch Nails. There's a sort of avant primitivism to their beautifully dismal sound, almost gothy in a sense, her bass freeing up her husband to do all kinds of interesting sinister jangles and elephant noise leads, creating a vibe as dark as it is catchy.
Most of the songs just barely graze the 5-minute mark, the longest cut being the closer, Alchemy for the Dead, an exercise in chiming harmonics that build tensions marvelously to a huge crescendo at the tail end. This type of album that would have been all over MTV and the radio if it was released back in 1995. False Gods gets away with slide guitar and even a saxophone solo without sacrificing any of the band's signature chest thump groove. There's a dance to your frown vibe to The Alchemist, lurching along for about 4 minutes before swiping away at all percussion, leaving a haunted music box sort of vibe to the melody. This is the type of band that could tour with Sleep or Lacuna Coil and fit right into both camps.
Absolutely. So let's hear a song. This is Algorithmic.
All right, this is Deaf Ears 3. Might want to fasten your seatbelts for this one.
It's a weird one.
This is Creeper, Sanguivar.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, like we just said, this is a weird one.
Yep.
Yesterday was Friday the 13th, so it was a great time to drop this third studio album from the Vampire Obsessed UK 5-piece Creeper. The new album, Sanguivar. I looked it up. A Sanguivar is an obligate blood feeder that attaches itself securely to their hosts for relatively long periods of time. You're welcome.
Yep. Here it is.
It's a concept record about, well, vampires. More specifically, the characters is Mercy is a 19-year-old vampire that gains control over an old man, Spook. There are vampiric transformations, murderous sprees, Rocky Horror-style piano interludes, 80s, AOR-informed choruses and leads, and even some electronics woven into some of the songs, giving the whole thing a playfully screenplay vibe. It's empty.
It's a fun listen. It's something for just about everybody. Cuts like Sacred Blasphemy and Teenage Sacrifice deliver hard rock hooks bathed in gothic keys, while Lovers Led Astray dabbles in the danceable a la Depeche Mode. The Ballad of Spook and Mercy is a lighter waving waltz time ballad with an outstanding hooky guitar solo. The one we're going to play for you, Cry to Heaven, is a must hear, and the video is a must see, if only for the corpse painted dance team tumbles intermingled with the band shots. Don't expect to get it all in the first listen, but this is another nugget for your holiday Halloween extravaganza. Hail the eyeliner. This is Cry to Heaven. Cry to Heaven. That was good.
Yeah, I found them somewhere between Meatloaf and the Genetic Rock Opera and Alice Cooper. Just
Really?
kind of, if you meld that together, there you go.
It was really cool. Yeah. And I was looking at some of the fan sites, and there are a lot of people that were like, this is my most anticipated album of the year. Okay.
It really could be like a movie soundtrack or
Yeah,
something. And
right.
maybe they will make a movie. I mean, they could.
Anyway, this was a good show. We talked about angry pharmacists.
We talked about spending $1,600 on your Halloween decorations.
We did. We had some very specific horoscopes. We talked about Chuck Cunningham. What happened to Chuck Cunningham?
When no one blinks when you replace a character.
And of course, Tenebrae. Near and dear to my heart.
And the return of the king, Cirith Ungol.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Stu.
No, I was not. Definitely not. This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Special thanks to Tim Baker from Cirith Ungol for appearing on the show. Here's to hoping they plan for Baltimore for this year. Snaggletooth theme, courtesy of Jens Kemgren of the Firebombs. Deaf Ears theme by Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. Season 3 artwork courtesy of KC Angel. Get over to Instagram. He is KC Angel Art. Our Deaf Ears bands, check them out, as well as Cirith Ungol, Creeper, Spotlights, and Bud Bronson and the Good Timers. All content 2023, the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
Happy Halloween, love.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.